You're listening to Brick by Brick, a work boots approach to your wealth, creating financial empowerment through independent, personalized, and authentic financial planning.
It's Brick by Brick, and we've got him, Connor, a certified financial planning professional with LGH. Connor, how are you?
Al, not too bad. Thanks for having me.
No, I'm very happy to have you on. I really do want a financial program on this program because, well, let's be honest, we learn a lot of stuff in high school and college, but almost none of it has to do with your financial planning, right? I mean, we just don't spend any time teaching kids what it means to have a credit card or what it means to put it away early. We just kind of let them go figure it out, and that's really not the way to do it.
Yeah, it's so true, Al. And people pound the table on financial education, but then where is it? And the information that's out there, and part of the reason why we're doing this program is to combat the fact that the information that's out there, the information that seems trustworthy with a high production value, a lot of times it's just flat wrong. Whether that's it doesn't understand how taxes actually work, it doesn't understand how certain investment vehicles work. And the really good people out there that are listening to your show, that are seeing these things online, they're just looking to do the right thing, and who's to tell them what's right or wrong. And so we're trying to be a voice for what's true and reliable for people out there.
Well, let me go with this. The name is interesting to me, Brick by Brick. And this is how I see it. You tell me if I'm off the mark. But when I first saw it and heard it, Brick by Brick, I thought to myself, the work boots approach to financial management, financial wealth, is the idea of my old man. My dad, and they were divorced when I was 4 or 5 years old, so we'd go with him like every weekend or every other weekend. And I remember him picking us up on a Friday. As we're going to his house, we stopped to the bank, put his check in, and he put $50 in savings. Yeah. Did it every week like there was no way he was going to not do it. This was his deal. Now I would say $50. This was 60 years ago, so I mean, put it in for its context. But he did it every week, no matter what. My dad was that way. He worked his, I don't think he had a 401k or any of that kind of stuff. He put money aside. And guess what? When he passed, he left my mom, my stepmother, with a living. They have enough. They had what they needed for retirement. And that was that Brick by Brick. It was $50 a shot every Friday. Yep. And that's how I got there. And I thought to myself, when I saw this, it kind of brought a little tear to my eye. Like, that really is how to do it, right? I mean, is that what you're talking about? Putting the bricks down, laying the base? Is that what this is about?
So so this goes back a little ways. My colleague and I are talking about, and we're actually launching a podcast. We need another podcast out there, Al. There aren't enough podcasts. There's not enough stuff to listen to. No, but we're kind of in the middle of recording the first season, and we're excited that we're going to be releasing that hopefully in the next couple weeks. So look for that. It's called the Brick by Brick Podcast, a work boots approach to your wealth. And just like you're saying, Al, unfortunately, it ties in with that bad information on the internet. Hot or exciting sells, right? The thing that's the get rich quick scheme, the thing that this seems like a quick buck, the thing that's all over the news and making the headlines is the thing that people kind of gravitate towards, and they forget that consistent, oftentimes boring, hey, save in that, save there, don't spend that, take these kind of mundane steps. And it's interesting, even the successful business owners and executives that we work with, a lot of them come to us and go, wow, your boring idea really worked out. And we go, yeah, guess what? Boring beats broke. So yes, this is where the brick by brick comes from. It's there's so many, which I think financial folks who get this kind of sleazy, I say slick back hair and then I look at myself and I go, okay, guy. But, the Wall Street, unapproachable kind of elite feeling. And it doesn't have to be that. You can have successful financial planning, successful financial foundation and investments and all these things and do it in a way that's relatable to the everyday person who's just trying to do their best.
See, it's setting that up. Again, brick by brick, I just love this idea about it, in that if you have that set up, I think you're less likely to fall for some of this stuff. I don't know if you remember. Remember, if you just didn't have one latte a day, you're like a millionaire? Yeah. Well, people stopped drinking lattes, and they were spending their money on a Coca-Cola and something else. And all of a sudden, I didn't get rich. I just didn't have a latte because it wasn't putting that same money away. I mean, there's more to it. It's the and I'm not ripping Bitcoin. It's the, hey, if you buy Al's Bitcoin, you'll be a gazillionaire, and you jump in, and what I don't know, Al doesn't know anything. I think if you know there's a plan, and you know you do this through your life, you'll get there. You're less likely to fall for the crap, the shucksters, they're making cell phones now, you must buy silver. Like, well, yeah, that's probably, I mean, maybe they're good advice, but my point is you jump on it because it makes sense for the moment. But the brick thing, I just love that analogy. I just love the idea of that.
The example that we talk about in the first episode of the podcast is the Iraqi dinari. There were a lot of people that went out and bought the Iraqi currency, bought it on eBay, bought literally physical Iraqi currency during kind of all the wars and when the country, fell and things, thinking, when the country gets back stable, this thing's going to pop. And didn't happen. Yeah. So, and that sometimes investing's that way, but the problem is chasing the returns, chasing the exciting thing you heard about at the cocktail party, or chasing the thing you saw on Instagram. That's where people can get themselves into trouble. And like you said, if there is a plan, and here's, we've got together, we talked about what are your goals? What are the things you're worried about? What are we trying to avoid? What are we planning for that, we aren't necessarily hoping happens, but could happen, the risks. And then as you go along that plan and you consistently and sometimes boringly accomplish those steps, you can kind of sidestep some of that, pomp and circumstance, and you tend to have better outcomes.
Well, I would imagine, and again, I say that about my dad when I was 4 or 5. I didn't figure it out till I was 30. I'd read a couple of books, and I think it was The Automatic Millionaire, and it all made sense, but it took getting married and me to buckle down and say, hey, I have a wife now, and hey, I've got children on the way, and hey, I can't hope that someday I win the lottery. Oh, I was so close with that $1 billion, Connor, so close. I had a number right. It didn't actually give me any cash, but I was 6 numbers from winning. You can't go with that, right? I mean, that can't be it. So the wife and I sat down, and we had a good friend say, well, what are your goals? And literally that idea is, I want to be rich. That's really not a goal. What does goal mean to you when to say you're rich? What number does that mean? What do you want to do? And to sit down and have that, and then we decided, okay, we need to put this much money aside, and all the rest clicked in. Again, the brick by brick thing. With your group, LGH Wealth Management, where do you want? Do you want the kid, first job out of college, a lawyer guy, come on in and we'll set you up with a good plan? Is that who you're looking for? Is it the 30-year-old Al knucklehead who literally went this for half his life and didn't make a plan, but now has one and I feel comfortable? Is it the guy, I'll plan your retirement? What is it, the sweet spot for LGA?
Yeah, the cool thing about our group is that we're what we would call kind of full open architecture and fully independent, meaning we don't need to sell this or get you to buy that or get you to get in on this program or whatever. We can kind of go anywhere, do anything, just depending on what the client needs. So what we're really kind of looking for is the right personality fit. But who I want to work with is that, whether it's that business owner that's just absolutely killing it, producing something, providing something, and they're looking for direction because they're really, really good at that. And they're ready to outsource, the other pieces to make sure their blind spots are covered. Whether it's that, like I said, that executive or that manager, that person who's kind of raising in the ranks in a bigger company. Maybe they're not an owner, but they're a high power, sales professional or manager. And they're just like, hey, what do I do with these different, rewards I'm getting that aren't just salary? Or what should my family do? How do I buy the house, pay for the school? And all the way down, and I say down to the beginning of kind of the financial journey of that young person or couple, but that have the head on their shoulders, like, no, we don't just want to kind of ho-hum through things. We're looking to have like I said, a consistent plan. We want to start building this brick by brick early, because we all know, or we should know, and we'll talk about on the show, the earlier you start, the better. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to have $1 gazillion to work with us. We don't have account minimums, and we don't even necessarily have to manage your account for us to have a really successful relationship together, which is relatively unique to us. So there's a lot of different ways we can work with folks, and it comes down to the personality fit and people who value, like you said, having the plan, and like we're talking about, building that plan and that future you want brick by brick.
Wow. So you said this, I'm going to hold you to it. You're saying that you don't even actually have an account with us to have a great relationship with us. Can we talk about that on the other side of the break? Can we talk about it on the other? Because that hit me like, What is he talking about?
Yep.
We'll talk about it. I've got him, Connor, with LGH right after this.
At LGH Wealth Management, our mission is to create financial empowerment through independent, personalized, and authentic financial planning. That means meeting you where you are and helping you get where you want to go. Whether you're a business owner planning for growth, succession, or a future sale, or a hardworking individual looking to get ahead, reduce stress, and tackle life's financial challenges, we're here to help. From retirement planning and investment management to tax-efficient strategies, estate planning, and risk management, LGH Wealth delivers comprehensive guidance you can trust. Call LGH Wealth Management today at 507-525-7324. That's 507-525-7324. Securities offered through J.W. Cole Financial Incorporated, JWC, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through J.W. Cole Advisors Incorporated, JWCA. Lubeck Geisler Ham Wealth Management Incorporated and JWC JWCA are unaffiliated entities.
Amongst friends, the Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
It's Brick by Brick, and we've got him, Connor, a certified financial planner professional with LGH. Before going to break, Connor, I thought it was interesting. You said it, and I'm going to hold you to it. You said that you don't even have to have an account with us to have a great relationship with us. Maybe I don't understand how things work. How does it work in your business? What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of different ways to kind of skin the proverbial cat, if you will. We can work with clients in a portfolio management capacity, which is at this point a pretty classic way for folks in our industry to work with clients. Meaning we can invest your retirement money, we can invest your taxable money, we can build portfolios and run those for you. And I think we do a pretty good job at that, honestly. But also, like we were talking about, maybe it's that business owner who most of their wealth is in the business that they've built. Maybe it's the executive at the Fortune 500 company whose most of their money's in their 401k and you can't really manage that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that younger couple again that we talked about that hasn't had time to build up tens of thousands of dollars on the side. And so they maybe have some money in 401ks or something like that, maybe their house and some 529, whatever it is, but they don't have all this money to give to a financial professional, certainly not to the minimums that are very common, 250,000, 500,000. I heard the other day an advisor who only works with people with over $5 million in investable assets. That's great. And that's an interesting business model. And I'd love to sit down and have a cocktail with that person. But here's the thing, just because you don't have all these assets laying around doesn't mean you don't deserve good financial advice. So we also have the ability to do comprehensive financial planning for a retainer, essentially. So it's like a subscription, and you get full access to our services without the need or the requirement for us to manage your money. So again, if you're that person even that likes to do their own investing in things, but you don't necessarily know about the taxes and the estate things and the protection and how it all comes together, you just like picking stocks, well, we can work really well together.
See, but that seems really genius to me. Because I think one of the things I presume, you're a guy, you're doing well, you're working, you're making the Fortune 500 guy. And he goes to the doctor when he has pain, right? Because you got the money to go to the doctor. Yeah. He probably has somebody that helps him work out and make sure he lifts right. But these are the same people who think, oh, I heard that thing online, I'm going to invest in that. Or I'm a day trader with my own cash. And never thinking that having a professional on your side for what might be the most, health is probably most important, but the second most important thing is your financial health. They don't go that way, but you're saying I can hire you for what I need. I still think I'm that guy, but I don't know the tax implication of putting all my money into this thing. I can come to you and we'd sit and chat and I just get billed for what I get from you, if you will.
So I mean, pick your analogy, right? If you're the person that likes their own investing or has done a good job with that, that's awesome. You might enjoy the research it takes to do that in a good way, and you might actually be able to keep your emotions in check to do a good job. You might, as the analogy goes, decide to build your own porch. You YouTube it, you get the hammers, you build your own porch. That doesn't necessarily mean you want to pull your own tooth, though. You probably could. You could probably do both, but maybe you aren't going to figure out how to be in the one porch you build, the one tooth you pull, the one retirement or financial plan that you're doing, which is your own. You might end up enlisting some help, and it's not a good fit for everybody, and that's totally fine. But we found that the clients that we work best with, again, are those that have that sort of mentality of, hey, I don't want to live an ordinary life, right? I want to do some of those things now that are going to benefit me in the future. And again, build brick by brick. But also are the ones that go, look, that doesn't mean I want to do this all alone. I want some expert, we do this hundreds of times a year. We see 1,000+ retirement plans and executions on saving for school and estates, all these kinds of things, right? We'll get into them throughout the course of the show. But that's really where that comes from.
That whole deck thing just hits me so hard. I literally watched my neighbor about 15 years ago decide he's going to put a deck on the house because he saw a video or something.
Yep.
That deck didn't stay connected to that house more than like one winter. And I'm like, that's what you get if you don't hire a guy who knows what footings are and that sort of thing. I love that analogy.
I've used the deck analogy quite a bit because I look at it and go, I'm not building a deck. There's no way. Could I put some 2x4s together? Sure. Would I put my family on it to grill out? Probably not. But then I met a guy that goes, I put my own deck on, and I go, that doesn't land with everybody. And then I go, how about pulling your own tooth? Your tooth hurts, it needs to be pulled. You could probably grab the pliers in the garage, but I'm guessing you're probably going to go to a professional. So anyway, now I'm on my soapbox. But
no, I just, when you said the deck thing, it hit me so hard because he had all the tools and he had it, but if you don't know what you're doing, that thing didn't stay in the house. It was so funny.
No.
Connor, I absolutely appreciate you coming on. We're going to get into literally topics every week. I want to get the introduction here, but this brick by brick idea is just fantastic. Again, I used my dad. I used what we finally figured out when I was 30 in my life. I think this is going to go a long ways, and I'm very excited about it. How does someone get a hold of LGH Wealth Management if they're saying, hey, I want to talk a little bit with that Connor? How do they do that?
Yeah, well, the podcast is coming soon, so you'll be able to hear more. We do some long form content, sitting down just like this and chatting about all these topics. So that's coming soon. I'll bring more information on that next week. You can reach out to me directly, Connor, CONNOR at lghwealth.com. Pretty simple, Connor at lghwealth.com. And we'd be happy to just sit down and chat if you have questions on your specific situation. Otherwise, tune into the Al Travis Show on Wednesday mornings, and you're going to get a lot of little tidbits as we move along here.
I appreciate you a ton, Connor. I'm very excited about this, and I just love the brick by brick, the work boots approach to financial health. Or I'm going to have to listen to it again. I thank you very much, Connor. I just love this idea, the brick. Thank you for being here. We'll get you back next week.
We'll see you next week, Al. Thanks.
He's Connor on the Al Travis Show.
You've been listening to Brick by Brick, a work boots approach to your wealth, creating financial empowerment through independent, personalized, and authentic financial planning. The preceding program is sponsored by LGH Wealth Management, which is solely responsible for its content. Securities offered through JW Cole Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through J.W. Cole Advisors. LGH Wealth Management, J.W. Cole Financial, and J.W. Cole Advisors are unaffiliated entities. The opinions expressed by the advisors at LGH Wealth Management should not be construed as specific investment, legal, or tax advice. Annuity guarantees are based on the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company and state agency limits. All economic and performance information is historical and not indicative of future results. Investing may involve the risk of loss of principal. Any tax advice on this show is not intended to be used by any person for the purpose of avoiding U.S. federal or state tax penalties that may be imposed on such person. Each listener should seek advice from their tax advisor or legal counsel on topics that arise from the show. The financial professionals at LGH Wealth Management are not providing legal or tax advice. Nothing should be construed as solicitation of an offer to buy securities.